So Jason, before we start, I'd like to maybe discuss last season. Obviously disappointing ending to it, but overall are you really proud of what the team achieved over the course of the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you said, if you'd have asked us at the start of the season if we'd finish in the top 8 and get the quarter-final of the trophy, to snap your hands off, it was just disappointing the way it ended. You know, for everybody concerned, not just the players and the management, but for the supporters and the club in general. But like you say, when you reflect after the season, it's been a real positive season and one that we can really build on.
And obviously the retain list was released last month, and we saw a number of players who've been at the club for a number of years, people like Dan Lowson, Callum Griffiths, Joe Tate, leave the club. Do you feel next season's kind of a new chapter in the club's history?
Well, I think every year you've got to progress, haven't you? You know, and it's disappointing that some players wanted to leave for their own accord, but that's football. You know, we've always been a big fish, especially around the northeast, and now we're competing with some fantastic clubs, and us being one of them. So it's important that we bring the right people in. You know, the lads who came in last year, the Dixons, the Chantlers, you know, the Jordan Porters, they all brought something to the table, and they got us to a place where we've never been before in our football history as a club. So they can take credit for what they've done, but we felt as though we needed to move forward, and hopefully the players that we're going to bring in will strengthen what we already have at the club at this present moment in time. And
you've mentioned there bringing players in. Of course, it is that time of year when fans are eager to know who's coming into the side. But what can you tell fans at this present moment? What's going on behind the scenes in terms of player recruitment?
Well, what I can say is that myself and Tommy being out nearly every night meeting players. You know, we're at a league now where I always say it's a three-tiered approach really. That the players that we're speaking to are either got football league interest, so they have to be patient. Then you've got the players who still want to stay full time and be, you know, in a full time environment in the Conference or Conference North. And then we are the next best bet. You know, we're a really, for us, we're one of the best part-time clubs in the country, and that does attract players. So you know, we have got players signed, but in our level, we've got to have them players signed, and they're still contracted to their clubs till the 30th of June. So there's plenty of things going on behind the scenes. The supporters should know that, because every year we've brought in quality players, and we endeavour to do that this season. And like I said, we've got, you know, hopefully 4 through the door already, with another couple pending.
And when you're looking for players in the summer, do you look solely for ability and technical skill, or is it about the personality of the player and that attitude, or is it a blend of both?
Well, I think first and foremost you look at where you think the strengths and weaknesses are of your team from last year as well. You know, we conceded far too many goals, and that's not all solely down to the defence and the goalkeeper, that's down to us as an attacking force. You know, it just goes to show we scored the most goals away from home in the league, but we conceded quite a lot, so we need to address that as a team, not just individuals. But we've got to bring, you know, people in who I think will either bring that to the party, because like you say, we've lost some good players. You know, we've lost Tate, who was a leader, we've lost Callum, who was a pivotal part of what we built at the club for 9 years. You know, replacing these players is going to be hard, but we've got players in who we believe that will take the club to the next step.
And we're about a month away from pre-season starting. It's 2 months a day till the start of the National League North season. In terms of the summer, do you get much of a break in the summer, or is it a case of your phone's constantly ringing every day and you don't really get a rest?
No, I mean, it's the busiest part of a manager's career. You know, it's I don't think I've been in the house. I must have bought more Starbucks and more Costa coffees than I care to imagine. But it is what it is. It's the job. You know, it's the nature of the beast. And like you say, if we're not talking to these players, and sometimes we talk to players who we probably haven't got a chance of getting, but we've got to be in the market. And the players that we're talking to have either played at the higher level, or we believe that can make the step up to the North Conference North. So it is a challenging time, but like I say, we've always brought in players that I feel as though they've made a bit of a difference, and I don't think you can argue with that. Last year, where we finished, probably wasn't down to personnel, it was down to circumstance. We always look at ourselves first. I look at myself and think, you know, what could I have done differently, what could I have done better. And we look through the club as a whole and do that from top to bottom. So it's important that we, you know, the fans know that we are, you know, out every night. We are looking for players. We are speaking to players and agents. At this level, you're speaking to agents, and the players that we're speaking to have got 2 or 3 options. And like I said, we spoke to a few lads down the Sheffield area. We travelled all the way down to Sheffield, but then lo and behold, you know, a manager comes and takes a post where it's 20 minutes from their doorstep. So I've got no problem enticing players to Spennymoor once they come to see the training ground and the facilities and the story behind where we want to be and the stability of the club. You know, it is an attractive proposition for players, and like you said, the players that we've brought in already, although we can't announce them until after June the 30th, and the players that we're bringing in will certainly enhance what we've already got at the club.
And let's look ahead to next season in terms of expectations and goals and things. Obviously last season promoted a new team. Do you think teams will maybe approach Spennymoor differently this season, perhaps give them a bit more respect because of where we finished last season?
Oh, without doubt. You know, after the disappointment of the season, you know, the messages that I received from various managers in the league told us what a good side we were, you know, and how attractive football we played. And we took some big scalps last year, and we're not going to be the surprise package next season. But you just have to look who's coming back into the league. You know, your Altrinchams, your Guisleys, your Chesters, you know, Hereford. It's going to be an even more tougher league, even though you've just lost Harrogate and Salford. It's the league to be in, and that's not being disrespectful to the other leagues, because, like I said, it's, you know, you've got to fight your way in and your way to where we are. It's certainly a league that we relish playing in, going to some fantastic stadiums and playing against full-time clubs. But we're under no illusion it's going to be another tough season, and but one we're going to compete, and we want to be at the right end of the season table come the end of the season.
And what are the expectations for next season? Is it a playoff spot again, or are we aiming higher?
Well, I think first and foremost you've got to get in them playoffs. You know, and like was proved by Bradford Park Avenue, you know, there's always one team who comes on the shirt tails of everyone at the end, and they did that, and all credit to them. You know, but we want to be right in the mix. You know, I'm not going to say that we're going to be in the playoffs or we're going to get promoted, but we've got to really build on what we did this year and take it forward next year, because, like you said, it's a really big year for the club.
And finally, Jay, do you have a message for the fans ahead of the 2018-19 season?
Yeah, just be, like I said, be patient. I know it's frustrating because I follow Twitter and I follow the signings that other clubs have made, but they can be rest assured that the players that we're bringing in, you know, will excite them, and the players that we bring in will enhance the club, because they're not only good players but they're good people, and I think that's important, because we are a family club. And you know, get behind the team, because, like I said, it was a phenomenal season that we had last year, albeit, you know, stalled at the last hurdle. But we're getting crowds of 900, 1,000, and we need every one of them to get behind the club, because no matter who you sign, they should be supporting the football club and the players that play week in, week out for Spennymoor Football Club.
Cheers, Jet.